What's up, everybody? Welcome to the broadcast. If you are getting into excavation, grading, demolition, and you're going to be hauling your own equipment, whether it's small, micro, mini excavators, or the biggest of excavators, you are going to have to deal with our friend, the chain. This is a 3/8 chain, which means the links are 3/8, and the opening of this will accept a 3/8 chain. These hook back on themselves, and this seems pretty elementary to those of you, my friends, who are experienced, but at some point you're going to go to your trailer and you're going to grab your chain, and what's going to be in your hands? A chain without a hook on the end of it. If you're lucky, you will find your hook, and you will find this pin that holds the hook onto that chain. Now, this all seems elementary, again, to my experienced friends out there, but there's a lot of you who are messaging me and you have never been around this stuff before. You're not experienced with it, you don't know how anything works, and something this simple can be a problem. And I imagine there's probably not a whole lot of videos out there to show you how to make this very, very simple repair. We're gonna go into detail, so you guys who are experienced, this probably bore the devil out of you, but for you guys who are new and fresh to this, trust me, this is something you're going to be doing a lot. This is what a cotter pin looks like. After a certain amount of time, they get rusty and they get weak, they get worked, and if this gets in a bind and that pin gets pulled hard enough, this tiny little flimsy piece of metal is going to break. In this video, we're going to fix that. Luckily for you, I have two scenarios right here. I actually lost one of my hooks and the little pin, but I also have a pin that I found and hook. So we're going to be able to make both repairs, and I'm going to tell you where to get the parts and what you're going to need. In the case that you are lucky enough that you have your pin and your hook, and of course your chain. The one thing you are not going to have, and I can almost promise you're not going to find it, is that cotter pin. And even if you did find it, it's going to be broken, so it's useless anyway. You can go down to Tractor Supply Company and get these multi-packs of what is called cotter pins. And I will show you what a nice, fresh, new looking cotter pin looks like. Brand new. And one end is always going to be a little bit shorter than the other, and that comes in really handy, and I will show you why in a minute. Now, in the case you have this, it will make this a lot easier, because you can go into your assorted pack and test which one of these is going to fit. You want to put the biggest one in that will easily fit in that little hole right there, okay? Now, this does make a difference here, okay? Obviously, it doesn't matter which way this chain is turned. What you're going to do is take this, and it slides right over the chain like that. Now, what does matter is which way you put this pin in. Here's the opening of your hook. This pin needs to go down through this hole, through that last link, just like that. Okay, the reason for that is you don't want this end in front of your opening, because it makes it harder for that hook, and your chain will be potentially getting hung on this. So now we flip it over. Okay, we've got our pin in there. You're going to take your cotter pin, this right here, and you're just going to slide it in that hole, one end or the other. Easy peasy. Now, what I will do is, if you have fairly tough fingertips, you can usually just hold these and grab this and just pull it like that. Okay, if you don't, my favorite tool, and if you're in this business you're probably going to have a chainsaw, is the chainsaw tool. You use the flathead screwdriver side, and you can wedge it between those two and bend it. Once you get it started, you want to bend this cotter pin all the way around the edge, just like this. Now, if your hands start getting cold like mine are, now see, once you get one ear bent, bend it all the way around. It's cold out here, so my fingers are going to stop working. Once you get one stopped, you can just hold it with your thumb and then bend it around. all the way, just like that. And what I would recommend doing is taking some pliers or something and bend those ears on around. That's actually a little bit long of a cotter pin, but I can snip those ends to the length that I want anyway. So that is how we re-secure our hook, just like that. Now in part 2 of this, all you have is your chain. You have lost the hook and you've lost the pin. Again, Tractor Supply to the rescue. They sell it as a combination. It comes with the cotter pin, and usually they'll just have it bent just a little bit. If they bent it a lot, it would really weaken this cotter pin. And what you can do is, what I will do is I'll twist that cotter pin this way. And that way I can push that ear back in more easily, and that pin will slide right out. And your pin will fall right out, just like that. Now, I know this kind of video is probably boring again, but for you guys who are new to this, you're gonna need to know how to do this. And it's the same thing. Now, when you go to size this, you can measure your little lengths, and on the hook, number one, it says forged, and right here stamped on it says 3/8. You can measure this little opening in your link. All right, again, opening of the hook, push him in, your hook, your chain right in there. My hands are getting cold. Sorry. All right, so we got our hook. Slide this right down in there. Now again, the pin needs to go through on the side that the opening is. That way you don't have your cotter pin up here in the way. Okay, you can hold it in place, flip it over, and you can reuse this cotter pin, but I would make sure to bend a different end. I bend both of them around. So just take it, put it right in there. Okay, this is another way you can do this. You can twist your cotter pin like this where it's up, and then you can just take it, and that way your pin won't spin out of your fingers. If I can demonstrate. Fingers are getting cold. I'll just get started. All right, so once you got it up there, you can push this one on up, and then you don't want to go too far, flip it over, and then you can work your other side. Well, I might as well show you, since my fingers are getting so cold. What I will do is open my pliers up and foul that pin up and just squeeze it. See how that just folded right around? I can do this side the same. Hopefully I can do it and show you guys too. See, like I'm putting my pliers on the pin like that and just work it in. So watch this. And then once you get them pretty well started, you can grab both ears, just squeeze them. And there you go. You have a repaired chain and hook. Hopefully this helps one of you guys out there. Thanks for joining me on this. And you experienced guys, if you've got ways that you fix something like this, even though there's really only one way to fix it, be sure to drop it in the comments. If you're definitely green and new to this and you have any questions about chains, hooks, binders, drop it in the comments. Somebody will help you. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day.